unload. Got some things.
That's the perfect box.
No, we're not saving these boxes. All right, in the garage today, we have my buddy Grant's Urano Gray Rabbit Edition GTI, and we've got on here the CJM Beri-Backer Diffuser. This is fin style 4. It looks pretty awesome on there, I'd say. And we're gonna get right into this install right away. Yeah, it's very dirty. Clean it. All right, so here's a quick look at the tools that we used. For some reason, we could never figure out where this adhesive went into the kit. I'm just kidding. Okay, here's real organization of the tools that we used during this project. You're gonna need a 4 and 3 millimeter Allen. These midget open-ended wrenches worked really well for us. This is 8 and 10 millimeter. I think maybe a standard length or size wrench might work, but the space up under the diffuser is really, really tight. Sharpie to mark adjustments that we had to make on some valence clips that we ended up having to Dremel out. That is for the 7.5 GTI, and from what I've seen so far, the 7.5R. Gonna need a Phillips head screwdriver. For all the Torx bits, we didn't end up removing the rear wheels. This again is another one of those midget, this is a 1/4 inch open-ended wrench that I taped a bit onto, that's T25, so that we could get in without having to take the wheel off. And then also I ended up putting that end into a 1/4 inch socket and a 1/4 inch ratchet just to get some small tools up in that space. You're gonna need a 3/16 and a 1/4 inch drill bit. A couple of squeeze clamps are super, super helpful. Oh, I didn't mention this pick here. This was helpful to have something to get all the dirt out of the T25s that are on the inside edge of the bumper. So that's the tool set that I used. Not exactly everything that CJM recommended, but a couple extra bits. Here's the box opened up, all the packaging inside. There's some hardware, and we're gonna dive through here and let's see what's underneath. We have everything out of the box. So we've got our fins here, the hardware. These are the side spats, the main plate that will go across. Got a little sticker here. Color photos, which is really nice, and some detailed instructions. And make sure you have all the hardware you need before you get started. Otherwise, you're not gonna get very far. So. All right, the first step is to remove the 3 T25 screws under here, and we're trying to work smarter, not harder. It might be easier for you to remove the rear wheel, but there is 1 T25 underneath and 2 in the wheel well, and I've made our own little T25 right angle here, a little bit of tape and a mini 1/4 inch open end socket.
Brilliant.
Is able to fit right in there. All right, so the next step after you remove those 3 screws is to remove 2 more. You're gonna pull back the liner, and they are in the top side of this piece here. Ours are kind of filled with junk, so we're just taking something like a little metal pick and getting the heads kind of cleaned out enough to be able to get a T25 in there. Yes, contort your hand as best you can to get it up in there, and
you're probably being able to see this like full on me being able to not land this in the hole.
The screws are out now, and there's a clip that is right here that we're gonna release, and that will allow this piece to come out. The photos are a little bit different piece in the instructions. I don't know exactly what model that came from, but this is, again, specific for the 7.5 GTI, and you're just gonna be removing this section right here. Is undoing that clip actually necessary to take that thing out?
I don't know. Maybe it just gives you more clearance to grab it.
Yeah, I think so.
Let me see.
Okay. All right, we're reading through the instructions and just want to make sure that we have this all facing the right way before we pop it together. It talks about on this base plate here having the machined pockets facing up when you do it. And so we're trying to figure out which way is actually going to end up on the car. This side will end up being the bottom. And I want to show you on the fin real quick here. You can see the detail where this is going to slide together. there's this first bump that is on the bottom of the fin that falls into a little pocket here. And then the bump that is, I guess, on the top side here of this fin is going to end up falling into this pocket. And then the diffuser, what did it call, fin hole? There's going to be an Allen that ends up getting screwed through into this machined, or this brass piece here. So we'll show it to you as we assemble it, but just wanted to show some of that detail of how it's going to snap together. All right, Grant's going to show us how he pops and locks it.
So the way that the notches are, it definitely puts some pressure. You have to kind of line it as it has the tendency to go offline because of the notches. So you got to kind of line it up, I'm guessing, as you're pushing it. That's why they say
put it against your chest to be able to apply the forces.
Yeah, it's going. It is.
Sweet. A little click in place. Awesome. All right, let's get the rest of those on there.
These are slightly angled in on the edge here, which is kind of cool.
Oh, neat. Oh, I see. Yeah.
It goes with the curve.
That looks really good.
Here we are.
All right, we're putting in these little screws. We're going to put a little bit of Loctite on these just because the screws will be facing downward and don't want them to go eventually shaken out somewhere. I don't think it's recommended in the install instructions, but we're just putting a tiny little bit of Loctite on there. All right, we're now at a point where we've got this centered up and clamped into place. Everything fits in here really nicely, and this piece back here actually aligns to the back edge of the stock diffuser. You can see how close some of this fits in here. All right, let's get it on. Start drilling. All right, now we're gonna carefully drill out with our 1/4-inch drill bit the 4 holes along here. We're starting with the center. We're gonna bolt up the center, and then we will drill and bolt up the outer.
All right, so I'm using this small 10 mil open wrench to grab the nut on the top. Oh God. To grab the nut on the top side of this. There's very, very little clearance here, and just barely able to get my fingers in here and hold that. And we'll just tighten her down on this side.
All right, we've got this thing all bolted on here. Yeah, it looks pretty good. I think we've got it centered up really well. I want to show the back side real quick to show you how much room there really is up in there. All right, here's what this looks like on the bottom side. So you can see that there's a kind of a lip from the stock diffuser that this meets up against and lines up. But when you're putting this all together, the nuts on the very end, sorry, this is going to be a little challenging to show. I think you could get a socket over that, but the ones that are up here in the center, you're not going to be able to get a socket over it. So you just get a open-ended wrench to hold up in there. I had the really, really small one, which worked well, but otherwise, that's how it bolts up under here. And there's nothing that you need to be concerned about with clearance for certain exhaust, because this doesn't extend out anywhere further beyond the stock diffuser. On the underside here, there's this small area where the small spat will just kind of sit, and there's going to be one bolt on the left side there that is going to hold it in place. And then there's a bolt that goes in the right that goes through both pieces. So we'll show you some detail about drilling the holes and then bolting it all together. And once you get that other bolt in there, you're going to go ahead and drill the next hole. Now we're gonna get the larger spat, or lower spat, kind of in place. We're using a squeeze clamp to hold on the end that is closest to the tire. It makes it really easy just to kind of adjust it, especially if you're doing this one-person job. All right, we've got the last of the holes drilled. Now time to bolt it all up. Okay, so we realized that while putting everything back together here that we had to actually, before putting this bottom spat back on, we had to put this clip back in, but you have to get this bolted together before you put this clip back in because you can't reach the nut from the top side. Having this off affords you enough flexibility to move everything around to get this clip back in here. So then we can reassemble. All right, so hopefully you caught the text on that last clip showing the passenger side. This is back on the driver's side clip that is going to go in. I've made a mark with a Sharpie of the center line of the bolt with a crosshair showing how far I want to go down. And I'm about to finish trimming this one up and then flip it over and do for the second bolt. In the next little bit of video, I'll show you reinstalling this and see how my grinding looks. Alright, here's where you can see where those two bolts are that we ground out some of the plastic for. This clip is going to go back in place. I probably could have ground out a little bit more on the right, but I think this pops right back in here. And once you get this clip back in, then you can put the two Torx screws back in the top side and get the rest of your fender liner screws in. Alright, we've got this side spat back on. We're going to put in all the fender liner screws, but I wanted to show you real quick the fact that there is a difference in these size. So these are the two that came from the upper position, I guess.
From the clip,
yeah,
actually.
from the clip, right? From
And
the
those
clip.
three are from the liner.
Yeah, these three are from the liner, so just make note that there's actually a difference in those when you're putting it all back together.
Damn it, did I grab one of the short ones?
You did!
I sure did.
I just looked down and realized that while you were saying it, I was like, wait a minute,
all
there's
the
two of
hardware.
those and two of
Use the
those.
right link screws.
Yeah.
We're good at our jobs.
We just got those top two in, and just wanted to show you real quick what the alignment looks like on my Dremel job there. I did an okay job. Maybe could have gone a little bit smaller area, but you're gonna have to do that to be able to get this piece back in there. Time to get the fender liner screws in. All right, so here it is. Quick look at the final product. Looks pretty awesome. Those are the angle of the Fin Style 4 on the 7.5 GTI. Looks really good. Oh, there we go. Now I gotta like brighten up the lighting so you can really see it well. The rest of it might look a little overexposed, but there's some detail on the inside of the fin here. Looks really great. I'm happy with our work. Hey, thanks for watching this video. If you like what you saw, go ahead and hit that like button, consider subscribing, and hit that notification bell. Check us out on Facebook and Instagram, and we've got a website too where you can buy some merch and support us. Watch out for some more videos, and we'll see you in the next one.